Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 1, Episode 4, Our Lord of the Three Body Problem. But before that, remember to like the video, helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. The first thing we see is Mike Evans and Yao Wenxia meeting in London in 1982. Wenxia obviously was able to leave the Red Coast base after the death of Mao in 1976, who was the leader of China at the time. So things kind of went back to how they were before the Cultural Revolution. She is now a professor of astrophysics. Mike Evans has now taken over his father's oil company after his death, so both are living very different lives from when we last saw them. They make idle chit-chat. Wenxia was surprised Evans remembered her. He says she was hard to forget. So there seems to be some sexual tension between the two here. We saw this from last time they met as well, back in China. Evans insists he hasn't changed. He would have gladly stayed in that hut all his life to save that bird. But with the resources he has now, he believes he can do more good in the world. He says in order to fight power, sometimes you have to embrace power. Wenxia kind of looks at him like bullcrap, points out his gold watch and his cufflinks. This kind of annoys him and he straight up asks what she wants. She tells him about her time on Red Coast base and lets him know about the aliens she has communicated with, the Santi, and how they are coming to this world. She believes the Santi can help fix this world because clearly humans cannot. Evans, being an environmentalist and his distaste of humanity's greed, agrees with this, that the Santi can help fix their society. We are now in present time. We are with Will. He is at the hospital waiting for Jack to pick him up. I'm sure most people remember from the last episode that Jack was killed by that strange woman after he refused to be part of their group thing, basically a cult. Saul comes into Will's room. Saul knows what happened to Jack. You can tell by his facial expression, and now he has to break the news to Will. We are now with Clarence, Augie, Jin, and Wade. They are watching the security footage from Jack's house of his murder. We do not see the strange woman who did it either. She is completely scrubbed from the footage, just like all the times before. Jin is crying, Augie is hugging her. Jin is saying how she should have listened to her, how they should have stopped playing the game. She and Jack both promised not to play anymore, but they didn't listen. Wade, thinking out loud, says Vera recruits 5 people to Oxford, and now she is dead along with one of the 5. So it seems Wade is suggesting maybe Vera knew what she was doing when recruiting them, and was part of this grand scheme all along, though her death probably wasn't part of her plan. Wade wants to see the invitation the strange woman gave to Jin after Jack left the meetup. Jin gives it to him. He looks at the 2 girls and once again says out loud, so they want Augie to stop working and for Jin to work for them. Why is that? More questions that will be answered later in the season. The invitation received is a welcome party to invite her to the organization. Wade tells Jin she can either go home and mourn her friend, or she can go to the party and help catch the people who murdered him. Jin wants justice, so she agrees to help Wade. We are now at Jin's apartment with Jin and Augie. They are getting drunk, trying to numb the pain of what has been happening. Jin thinks she could have done more, but Jack just wouldn't listen to her. You may recall she was giving Jack a look at the meeting to tell him to settle down, to not antagonize the woman, but he wouldn't listen. Augie says there was nothing she could have done. Jack is stubborn. Jin believes that the Santi are real. Augie agrees with her. It is the only thing that could explain what has been happening. The flickering stars, the headset, the countdown, this tech is way beyond the Earth's. It has to be coming from a more technological, advanced being. We are back with Clarence and Wade. They have found where Evans has been hiding, on an oil tanker that hasn't delivered oil in 40 years. Clarence says there could be 1,000 people living on it. We know that this is where Evans lives and talks to the Santi. From the picture we see there is a giant radar, just like the one used on Red Coast base. Now something is allowing them to communicate faster though, where they could have conversations, because communication by radar takes about 8 years. We also know that this is where the game gets monitored at. So most likely all the other people living there also know about the Santi and how they are coming. So he has a little cult going on the tanker. We are now at the tanker. It is called Judgment Day. And we see that it's not just adults on the tanker, it's kids, it's entire families who have been indoctrinated into this world. That the Santi are coming and they are humanity's saviors. That they will save us from ourselves. So yeah, pretty much cult. It is very religion-y in how Evans talks about it. He always calls them my lord. and how they can work miracles. The guy monitoring the game tells Evans how Jack didn't work out, so basically they had to off him. He asks Evans if they should increase security at the party that Jin was invited to. Evans says no need, the Lord is all the security we need. So clearly the Santee somehow have a way of spying and messing with Earth's technology. We have seen this with the scrub footage, the particle accelerator is not working, and so on. And they seem to be controlling this tech from their ships because the way Evans makes it sound, he has no power over it. He just does what he is asked. Evans sits down to speak with the Santee again. Evans informs them of the new recruits they have coming to join their organization. The Santee tell Evans that his enemies know about the summit tomorrow, and they know where Evans is. So they are talking about Clarence and Wade here. It would make sense that they would also be able to spy on those guys since they can do other crazy things with our technology. Evans looks worried, but the Santee tell him they will protect him and all the other followers. Evans is relieved at this news. We are now with Jin. She is back with Wade and Clarence at the Intelligence Center. She is telling them that spy work isn't her forte. She does equations and hypotheses, that nerd stuff. They know all that. They tell her they will be watching to make sure that she is safe, that she is not there to fight, she is there to gather information. Just listen to people talk, and then leave. It's simple. They advise her to pack a few things as well, clothes and essentials, if things do go bad. This cult knows where she lives. Wade doesn't want her to end up like Jack. We're back on Judgment Day with Evans. He is reading the Santee another fairy tale, this time Little Red Riding Hood. The Santee don't get it. They don't understand lying, why the wolf is hiding his intentions. The Santee communicate by thought, so there is no lying involved. They literally can't. So Evans explains lying to them. They then ask if he has ever lied. He says yes, on occasion everyone has. The Santee say they have to consider this, and we get silence. Evans seems concerned. The Santee come back a few seconds later, and they think they get what lying is now. They say, a liar is someone whose words are false. A liar cannot be trusted. We cannot coexist with liars. We are afraid of you. And then all we hear is silence. Evans tries talking to them, asking if they are there, but nothing. So the Santee are scared of humans, that we can deceive and manipulate, and they can't. Evans also basically said all humans are liars. So they don't trust anybody on Earth, that we can't coexist. They aren't turning their ships around either, so when they come to Earth, they will be looking to wipe out humanity. We're back with Jin. She's driving to the coordinates that were on the invitation. They lead her to the middle of the woods, basically. She sees another car and walks over to it. A woman steps out and pats her down, making sure she is not wearing a wire or anything. We also see that Clarence is watching this from a safe distance as well. Far enough away not to get caught, but close enough to save Jin if her cover gets blown. The woman opens the door of the Land Rover for Jin and asks her to get inside. Now they head towards the actual party. Jin asks where they are going. The lady says to the summit, and not to worry, our Lord will take care of us all. Now the thing is, the Santee don't like Evans or his cult anymore, so they aren't protecting them anymore. Which is why Jin was even able to make it this far. If the Santee were still protecting, they would have had Jin most likely murdered when she got there. They enter this old barn, and Jin sees it is full of people mingling. It is like a party. The woman who gave Jin the invitation and murdered Jack is there. The woman hugs Jin, saying she is happy she made it, and how sorry she is about Jack's death. Jin is angry and a little terrified right now. She believes this woman killed Jack. They have some kind of listening device on Jin, and Clarence says he knows that voice. It is the girl who surprised him at the graveyard in the second episode. That this organization has known about them all along. Wade doesn't seem to be bothered by this though. The woman and Jin do some more talking, and we find out that the woman has been in this cult since she was a little girl. So Evans has been building this organization up for quite some time. The woman then says tonight is a very special night. The founder of our organization is here to speak. The founder comes in, and it is Yao Wenxia. As audience members, this isn't exactly shocking news, but for everyone in the show, it is. Jin can't believe it. Clarence is also in awe. Wenxia comes up to Jin and says she is glad she made it. The woman who killed Jack sees this and is a bit jealous. This is a new recruit. She has never had a one-on-one time with Wenxia. Clarence and Wade are confused. Nothing connected her to this other than the funeral. At least nothing they have seen or heard. But what has been controlling what they have been seeing and hearing? The Santee. but they aren't protecting these people anymore, which is why they're even able to see this. Yawensia gives the keynote, talking about her early life and the hell she was in. She says humanity cannot save themselves, that they need help from the Santi, who are 4 light years away, so it will take them about 400 years to get there. So none of the characters in the show will be around when they do actually get here. Wade believes he has heard enough of this and tells Clarence to crash the party. A bunch of SWAT come in. Yawensia tells the group to cooperate. If the Lord is allowing this to happen, it is supposed to happen then. It seems that Mike Evans has not told anybody about the Santi cutting off communications with him and how they are not protecting them anymore. Everyone sits down. The SWAT officers go up to Jin to get her out of here. The lady who killed Jack sees this and realizes Jin was the informer. She pulls out her gun and shoots the officers with Jin. She wants to take Jin out for what she did. A shootout commences with the audience and SWAT. Yawensia sitting on the ground, not worried at all. The Lord will protect her in her mind. Just as the woman is about to kill Jin, Clarence saves her by shooting the gal in the leg. He then escorts Jin out of there. The chaos is over. They detain the rest of the cult members. Jin is put in an ambulance. They're going to take her somewhere safe until they figure out everything that's been happening. So basically, she will be in a safe house. We see that the lady Clarence shot is crawling in a field, so she was not detained. And I'm sure she will want some revenge. We're now with Will back in his apartment. Will rings Jin up as she is heading to the safe house. Obviously, she's been through a lot. Jin decides to tell Will about everything that has happened, so the Santi, the raid, and pretty much everything. We're now in 1984 with Yawensia and Mike Evans. He is showing her the oil tanker they will use as their base of operations, and how it has a radar so they can contact the Santi. We find out that the Santi have been trying to reach Wensia for a bit. They want to know more about our world. We then see Evans and Wensia kiss, so these guys were banging. I would guess that Vera is Evans' daughter, which would make sense why he was at her funeral. And that is the end of the episode. What did you think? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more 3 Body Problem content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.